Good evening, everybody. Dear friends, Ted Deutsch and Avital, and all the leaders of AJC, which came to visit Israel. This is so very important for us all. Before I start, I want to wish a full recovery to those wounded in the terror attack in the Shomron today. I'm sure that, like always, our security forces will end up capturing the terrorists and bring them either to prison or to their grave, whatever comes first. Terror reminds us, time after time, on our need to stay united within ourselves so we can overcome our enemies. And we will definitely overcome this squad of terrorists as we have done so before. I want to take this opportunity today to talk about struggle and hope. The people of Israel were born in the midst of a struggle. The book of Genesis tells us how the name Israel was born out of our father's Jacob's struggle. After struggling with the angel on the riverside on his way back to Canaan, Jacob ultimately demanded he'd be given the angel blessing. The angel response was, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with humans, and you overcame." We are the same people, from the same place, that struggled 40 years in the desert until reaching the Promised Land. A people that yearn for the return to Jerusalem after 2,000 years of exile. A people that struggle to survive in the ghettos and survive the systemic extermination in the Shoah. A people that succeeded in building a nation after years of sustained efforts of the Jewish national movement. A people that struggled with the heat and the swamps, and yet managed to transform the country into a high-tech superpower and the strongest country in the Middle East. As we celebrate 75 years to Israel's independence, and 75 years to the restoration of Zion in the epicenter of the Jewish people, we find ourselves contending with a series of new struggles. I'm going to talk about 4 of those major struggles. The first struggle is the struggle against antisemitism and in favor of promoting tolerance for the Jewish life globally. Over the last few years, we have witnessed a sharp rise in anti-Semitic incidents. Only recently, I heard of a shocking case of an authentic teenager wearing a kippah who had a swastika carved into his back in Las Vegas. We must act against the daily realities that lead to such incidents. Realities where Jewish students are attacked with lies on campuses. A reality where the City University of New York allows student speakers to spread hate against Israel on stage. This is a struggle we must overcome. On this opportunity, I want to thank Ted, Michael, Avital, and all of AJC of their commitment to this issue, and specifically for organizing a bipartisan action group in Congress to combat anti-Semitism. I also want to thank the current American administration for publishing the first ever national strategy to counter anti-Semitism last month. Time has come for Israel to shift gear on this issue as well. Every embassy needs to be measured by its effort in mitigating anti-Semitism. Every community needs to be equipped with the right tools, and every meeting with world leaders needs to address this pressing issue. In combating anti-Semitism, we must remember that it is not always easy to explain that though we are strong, we are still right. The second struggle we must contend with is anti-Semitism and racism being of the reasons behind the isolation of Jews from Jewish people and the State of Israel. Unfortunately, a growing number of Jewish youth feel less connected to Israel today, and they grow up hearing horrible lies about it. Every Jew around the world must know that they have so much to be proud of. They must know that Israel will always be ready to welcome them no matter what. And we must ensure that all Jews feel that they have a place, physical or spiritual, in Israel. We must take action so that every single young Jew better understands Israel, so that every Israeli better understands the diaspora. The third struggle is contending with a potential existential threat. These days, Iran is getting closer to becoming a nuclear threshold state and is funding terror proxies around the world. This is a global struggle for the world order and for maintaining regional stability. Whether it is through funding of Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad spreading terror, whether it is through Hezbollah, who plays a central role in the disintegration of Lebanon, whether it is through Houthis in Yemen threatening and acting against Saudi Arabia and UAE. Iran's actions affect the entire global surrounding and the entire Middle East. And bear in mind that with a nuclear umbrella, Iran will lead to a potential arms race in the Middle East and in the rise of Iranian aggression around the world. And for those reasons, the world must stop it. Israel will not be able to reconcile with such reality. On the subject of Israel's security, there will be no difference between the coalition and the opposition here in Israel. Should a responsible, necessary, and determined action be needed against Iran, and as a party leader in the opposition, I will provide my full support to the government. Unfortunately, we are closer than ever have been in the past in needing this act, and I truly hope that the world will act before that time comes. This is a struggle of every Israeli citizen and of every global citizen. It has its hardships, yet it also has its hopes for new alliances and cooperation with our neighbors. Let us remember that stability in the Middle East will lead to prosperity, and that prosperity can lead to a greater freedom and improved quality of life for the people of that region. And let us all maintain and strengthen this very important stability. The fourth and last struggle in Israel these days is the Israeli struggle for its democratic identity. This struggle is not one between the citizens of Israel, as it is in the interest of all Israeli citizens. It is true, there are deep internal divisions. The last few months have resulted in a deep wound in the heart of the Israeli society. And from the very first moment, I said my personal commitment is to bring all sides to an understanding. In our fourth struggle, there must not be any winners. And if we succeed in this complex mission, we will emerge stronger than before, for the sake of the future generations, for the resilient and united Israel, and for the sake of all democratic, Jewish, liberal, strong, and just Israeli society. Dear guests, our most important struggle is to be able to prosper and live together. All of the Jewish people and all of the Israeli citizens. That is what will promise an internal hope, the hope and the vision to continue being a free people in our homeland and everywhere, is the struggle that unites us all. May hope and unity forever guide us. Thank you very much.